Good morning. Good afternoon. I don't know when it is. I don't know when it is, but you see the title of the video. We were played. We were played. This whole time, my biggest concern is that we would not get all four horsemen on a volume. But then they hit me with they bamboozled us. They doubled up on us. This whole time, this was not family, this was death. I You know what's crazy? There's something unsettling about um how famine and death like maneuver, because it's kind of like the same thing. It kind of feels like, like if famine and death were twins, it makes sense because they're kind of adjacent to each other. Like if you starve for a while, like death is probably close by. And so I feel like famine, which is like to starve or to be without, or like to even yeah, to starve or be without, it makes sense that like her famine and death are like, they look like kind of like, in my opinion, they kind of low key look like they're sisters. Like they could almost be twins. And I feel like at the same time, that's what they embody, is almost like a twin thing, like death, famine. Like it goes hand in hand to me. But the fact that who we thought was famine this whole time has been death, and that she's already been here this whole time. All the stuff about the prophecy, all the stuff about Asa, Denji, being able to beat death, and it's something I realized is that she played us. Like, she played us immaculately. I wasn't really ready for that, It wasn't on my bingo card. I was honestly a little underwhelmed by well, I guess it's famine now. I was really underwhelmed by the real famine's introduction, because in my head I'm like, she should have an alter ego that makes her pop off. But then it hit me once the reveal happened. I will never sit here and say that I knew from the beginning, because I did not. But once the reveal happened, what literally hit me in my chest was that it makes sense. Famine is always hungry, so any sort of life she sucks life from, because she's hungry, she's starving. She'll eat anything, she'll devour anything. And so it could be misconstrued as death, because she can devour anything and strip the life from it, but she's just eating, she's devouring. But death is adjacent, it's similar, but it's not the same. So I'm not surprised that we were fooled by it. And maybe there were a bunch of signs that we should have paid attention to. And I'm like trying to like replay in my head. And even the way that Famine always talked about being hungry, perhaps that could be recontextualized now. Maybe she was just playing her part, like acting her role. Like, she's Famine, so she's always going to be hungry and starving. But maybe she was actually starving for something else. Maybe she needed more souls, or maybe she needed something to fulfill her. Whatever the case may be, we now are in a really different place. Because I feel like the famine that we've seen, well, the famine we're used to, which is now death, it's going to shake everything. Excuse me. It's going to shake everything. I don't know where we're going to go from here, because there's so many. I have no idea what her plan is. I have no idea what anyone's plan is. The fact that famine just got here, the real one, I have no idea what's happening. And with Yoru, Fami, death, and maybe Nayuta can come back at this point because of death, if that's what happened, or maybe not. I don't know. There's so many questions. There's so many things that kind of make you want to. I got to pick up this volume and anything after that and reread to figure out, what did I miss. There has to be something I missed, because that's the only thing I could think of is, let me reread Chainsaw Man Part 2 and figure out, are there other signs. And that's the beauty of manga, that we can sit here and have like such a reveal happen, and it makes you question the whole contextualization of the story so far. And that's literally why I'm going to go back and read Part 2, because maybe something tells me we should have known. Like something within me says we should have known, but there's a reason why we ain't catch it. And I wonder if there's any YouTubers that actually really caught it, and like we're actually able to make a story about it. Who knows? We all got bamboozled. It was fair game. But with that being said, my concern now is we have three of the four horsemen roaming the streets, and I think the balance has to be out of whack between the primordials and the four horsemen. Like, something has to give. There is no reason for all three of the four horsemen to all be in the same place while the primordials are running rampant. There's too much. There's not enough room for everybody to hang, if that makes sense. So I wonder how the combatants are going to happen. Are we going to have Denji, Pochita taking on primordials and then the horsemen? And it's like we don't even have teams at that, because the falling one clearly does not rock with anybody. The justice one does not rock with anyone. Aging does not rock with anyone. Like, if anyone's on a team, it's just Yoru and Denji. Like, that's the only two. Because it seems everyone else is fending for themselves. Like, it's a free-for-all. And it's a free-for-all that's not really helpful, because basically it's only going to be chaotic from here. And maybe that's what Death wants, is the chaos of it. And so it makes me think, where do we go from here? Oh, I had a yawn. Where do we go from here? I hate when I yawn because my eyes water. But for me, I wonder if Naruto can come back, because then what happens if you have all four horsemen on the earth at the same time? Does that mean that this is the end? Or does it matter if you have all four? The point that I'm trying to make is that, when did death descend upon Earth? When was there a contract that was made? How did we get there? And I think that hopefully the upcoming chapters that Fujimoto gives us can really shed some light on Death's appearance, as well as the reasoning why and the purpose behind it, and kind of keep pushing that narrative forward. But it does have me curious, because there's so many pieces where I'm like, this makes sense, but we're missing something. But I say that to say, I really feel like what it's going to be, if I had to actually pick, I think it'd be Death in the Primordials versus the public safety versus Yoru, Denji, and Famine. Unless Death just kicks Famine out next chapter and it's just like, you're gone, return. Then it'll just be Yoru, Denji versus public safety versus Death and Primordials. Or it'll just be Yoru and Denji versus public safety versus Death, and the Primordials will just be around them. Like, all these other entities have been roaming the earth, like Aging, Justice, Future. Like, perhaps it'll all just be surrounding them. So I'm really curious how we're going to go about that. But I'm super excited. I'm always pumped for Chainsaw Man. As y'all know, actually, y'all probably don't know, my number one manga right now is Chainsaw Man. Now, sometimes it do be slipping. Sometimes it's a little egregious. It's a little aggressive. A little, inappropriate is the word I would use to sum it up. But nonetheless, the story that's behind it and how the story has been navigating since part 1, it kind of has me wondering, are we going to get a part 3? How far can we go with this? I think part 2 probably ends the story, or at least I feel like it should end the story. I think part 3 would be dragging it. I don't know if I would want to see more. I think it should end with part 2. But then again, there's a really big case for Fujimoto to really strive for part 3, because he does have wiggle room for it. We don't have to just be on Earth. There's other places we can go. There's other features we can utilize. But I am curious where we're going to go. He has a lot of wiggle room, and I'm glad he took his world building so seriously and planned it so carefully, because it didn't back him into a corner. And so now we got free reign. We have free reign. But with that being said, make sure y'all stay up to date with Chainsaw Man. Just keep reading. Just keep reading. And we'll all learn together. And I'm going to try to do more Chainsaw videos. I definitely do more Chainsaw Man videos, but it's interesting because as I've been really reading or watching stuff, I haven't really been watching as much. I did finish Solo Leveling, but what I've been reading lately, the standouts for me on any weekly basis is the Webtoon Ordeal, Sakamoto Days, and Kagurabachi, and Dandadan, and then Chainsaw Man, of course. But if it isn't those 5, especially the first 3, I'm not as locked in as I used to be when reading manga, because those have been my standouts. They just hook my attention. But I'm not going to ramble about that. we've been bamboozled. Long story short, bamboozled. Fujimoto did his thing. So let's figure out what's gonna happen now. So I guess we'll find out. We'll stay tuned for next chapter. Y'all have a good one. Peace.